Just hold on. Okay, so in today's class, I will be talking about Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. By what do you mean by Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium? Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium, actually it's a type of equilibrium which was in a population. So this is the first step in population genetics. So when you are studying genetics, you study about genes and alleles on an individual basis. That one male and one female, they cross, they have got this particular genotype, it's crossing with a recessive genotype, you have an F1, then you have you get the F2 in a, say, in a ratio 3:1 or 9:3 to 3:1. So you are studying the genetics in this angle from a individual perspective, an individual mating, an individual perspective. But in population genetics, what you study it from the perspective of a population. So these alleles, they have got a frequency in the population, and the genotype, say for example, the capital A or capital T, they have got a genotypic frequency. And say if T is the allele, so that the T allele has capital T allele, it has got, say for example, it has got an allelic frequency. Small t has got its own allelic frequency, and it has got a genotype frequency. What is the frequency of capital A or capital T? হ্যাঁ,
কোনো স্ক্রিন দেখতে পাচ্ছি না কিন্তু স্যার।
আমি এখনো স্ক্রিন শেয়ার করিনি।
ও
হুম, আমাকে শুনতে পাচ্ছ তো?
হ্যাঁ, শুনতে পাচ্ছি।
Okay, okay. So we are talking about capital A, so or capital T, which is the dominant. You have a capital T, small t, which is a heterozygous. You have a small t, which is a recessive. So you have studied about all these phenotypes. So you have this in the population also. So in a population you have a number of, in the whole population you have a number of individuals which are small t. You have a number of heterozygous individuals. You have a number of dominant capital T individuals, for example, in a Mendelian's cross. So you are not studying in genetics, you are not studying this in the population level. So here what you are doing, you are studying it in the population level. And this Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium is a law which studies population genetics. It gives a law which will be coming, we will be coming to that law. But before that, we will be talking about what is allelic frequency, what is a Mendelian population, what is genotypic frequency, and after that we will come to allelic frequencies. In your syllabus, you have to study about all these things, as well as Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium and applications and consequences of Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. So certain rules and certain anomalies, certain things, where certain conditions when Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium is not followed. So we have to study about all these things. So and now I will share my screen. Now is my screen visible? স্ক্রিন দেখা যাচ্ছে? হ্যালো,
হ্যাঁ স্যার, দেখা যাচ্ছে।
আচ্ছা, okay. So now we define what is a population, what is a Mendelian population. We must talk population, or more precisely Mendelian population. What is Mendelian population? So a population, or more correctly a Mendelian population, is defined as a group of actually or potentially inbreeding individuals of a species. So in a Mendelian population, each individual has got equal chances of mating with another individual, whether they actually mate or whether they have the capacity of mating. So each male in the population has got an equal capacity to mate with a female in the population. Each male has got an equal capacity to mate with a female in a population. So everybody can mate with everybody. Every male can mate with every female. So this is a Mendelian population. It's a hypothetical population. In reality, it doesn't happen. So we are not talking about relationships or social status or strata or caste or all these things. We are not talking about. In reality, all these things come into the equation. So we don't study about all those things. So the lowest level of Mendelian population is represented by panmictic population. Panmictic means where individuals of opposite sex mate with each other at random. So individuals of opposite sex, they can mate with each other at random, and this is not a there is no other features affecting it. Panmictic means they are freely mixing and mating with each other. So the size of a population may vary, but it is usually considered to be a local breeding group, often referred to as a deme. So there is a definition of what a deme is. So look, what it is, a simple relationship diagram. It's showing a relationship. You have to study this diagram. I'm marking it over here. I will send you this file with my markings and underline. So it's showing a relationship among species, populations, and individuals. So this is one population, one circle like this. This circle over here is a population. In this population, the whole thing is a population. So there are many circles. So there is a group of populations, and all this population together, they make a species. And in a population, one individual small circle is a individual. So this is the relationship between an individual, a population, and a species. So the main thing to arise from this is that population genetics, it focuses on studies of heredity in groups of individuals. Now you see what is the heredity, or how the alleles are transmitted from one generation to another in the whole population, not in that simple one cross, but in the whole population. So this is the essence of population genetics. So let us look at a genetic structure of the population. So the sum total, we are talking about a concept known as gene pool. We are talking about gene pool. So we are talking about gene pool. We are talking about gene pool. So it is, what is a gene pool? It is the sum total of all different alleles in the breeding members of a Mendelian population. The sum total of all the different alleles in the breeding members of a Mendelian population at a given time, and that is the gene pool. So what does it mean? It means that it is the sum total of all the alleles. So a particular genetic locus, say the locus, let us talk about the in the pea plant, the tall and dwarf, capital T and small t for tall and dwarf, allele for tall and dwarf. So the sum total in the population, so all the individuals which have got the allele capital T, all the individuals which have got the allele small t. It could be even the heterozygous population, they have got both the capital T as well as the small t. So the heterozygous is individual is considered in both the alleles. So you have capital individuals who have got capital T, you have individuals which have got small t in the whole population, and that is the ratio. Say 75, it can be 75 is to 25. 75% of the individuals have got the capital T allele, 25% of the individuals have got the small t allele, say for example. So this is actually what you mean by a gene pool. It's a whole pool which has got all the alleles together. There can be 3 alleles. It can be A1, if say for example you have an allele A1, A2, A3, A4. So all the combinations of all the individuals A1, A2, A2, A3, A2, A4, A2, A3, A1, A4. So all of them together, you have a population that is together, they form a gene pool. So now we come to a term known as genotypic frequency. So what is genotypic frequency? Genotypic frequency is the percentage of different genotypes found within a population, and there is allelic frequency. It is the proportion of different alleles of gene in a population. So how many individuals in a population are capital A capital are capital T or capital T small t or small t, that is the genotypic frequency. And allele frequency is how many proportion of the individual which has got capital T and proportion of individuals which have got small t. You are talking about an allele, but when you are talking about the genotype, you talk about both the alleles, on both the one from mother, one from father, capital A or capital A or small a. This is a genotype, and the allele is only A or capital A or small a. So this is, or instead of A you can talk about T. So consider the example, a locus, say a locus for eye color or whatever, having 2 alleles, capital A and small a. They will have 3 genotypes. We know this, capital A, it can be capital A small a and small a. Now say if the total number of individuals in the population are 1000 individuals, so and 450 of them are capital A, 400 of them are capital A small a, and 150 of them are small a. Then the genotypic frequency is frequency of AA 450 by 1000, that is 0.45, frequency of capital A small a, that is 0.40, and frequency of small a, that is 0.15, 150 by 1000, and sum of them will be 1. F is the frequency. So this is the, you get the genotypic frequency. Now we are going to calculate the allelic frequency from this genotypic frequency. So it can be allelic frequency can be calculated by 2 methods. The gene counting method is, we are talking right about gene counting method. Formula is allelic frequency is number of an allele at a given number of an allele at a given locus and total number of all alleles in that given locus. Since homozygotes have 2 of the given alleles, so homozygote has got capital A, so they have got 2 of the given alleles, and heterozygotes have only 1 of the allele, only one A, the other one is small a. and since the total number of alleles is twice the number of individuals in a population, we can have this as allelic frequency is 2 into count of homozygous, that is 2 into capital A plus count of heterozygous divided by each individual in the population has got 2 locus. So total number of individual means total number of individual into 2 locus. If your gene for eye color, so each individual has got 2 chromosomes on which has got 2 locus. So how many locus does one individual have? And one individual has got 2 locus. So 1000 individual will have 2000 locuses. One from father, one from mother inside them. One maternal chromosome, one paternal chromosome. One maternal loci, one paternal loci. So this following that example, 2 into count of AA plus count of AA, we use this formula. We get 2 into 450 plus 400 divided by 2 into 1000. You get the answer of 0.65. So the allelic frequency of capital A is 0.65. And similarly, the small a is, you use the same formula. The homozygous have got 2 loci. So 2 small a and 1 the heterozygous has got 1 way, and 2 into total number of individual, and the value is 0.35. If you add these together, the total gene pool is 1 or 100%. So the second method to calculate allelic frequency is based on genotypic frequency. The formula is frequency of a given allele equal to frequency of homozygotes of this allele plus half into frequency of heterozygotes of this allele. So you are already calculating the frequency beforehand. Here you are calculating by numbers. Say for example, you don't have the problem given to you, you don't have number. You have been only given the genotypic frequency. From the genotypic frequency, you have been told now you calculate the allelic frequency of this particular, the genotypic frequency as so and so. You know the genotypic frequency. In this problem, the genotypic frequency is 0.45, 0.40, 0.15. You have been given this. So from this you can you have not been given this 1450, this number. You had been given here, if you had given, you can use this formula and calculate, but you have not been given that formula. So the formula is frequency of AA plus half into frequency of capital. This is the frequency, that is we are talking about 0.45, 0.4 and 0.15. Its total is also 1. So you have to use this formula. You get the same value 0.65 and 0.35 from both angles. You can get the same answer. So they are this is a problem given to a group of individuals. Some individuals, a genetic trait that they can taste a chemical known as PTC. Some people cannot taste PTC. Some people can taste PTC. It's a genetic trait. So in a population, there are capital T are tasters and small t are non-tasters. The allele for tasting is dominant over the allele for non-tasting. And so they are saying that population of 500 individuals, 225 are capital T, 150 are capital T, and 125 are small t. Then the genotypic frequency of the population it is. You can calculate the same thing, and you are using this from this you are calculating the allelic frequency. Capital T allelic frequency is 0.6 and 0.4 using the formula. This you can use the formula of numbers. You can also use it from on the basis of genotypic frequency. If suppose you are in your exam, you can be given the genotypic frequency of capital T is 0.45. The genotypic frequency of capital T small t is 0.30, and small t is 0.25. Calculate the allelic frequency of capital T and small t. This is the question that it's given to you. So you can use the second formula on the basis of genotypic frequency. You can calculate this sum also. Now you can do it with multiple alleles. It's the same thing. Therefore, you will not get questions with multiple alleles. I hope so. So, but it's the same thing. I'm giving you this thing so that you can, if you're interested, you can go through this. You can read it. It's the same thing, but only just one more allele free count is added. That's all. For X-linked locus, the same thing. Now we go to the Hardy-Weinberg principle. So Hardy and Weinberg, they independently, both of them, they have given the following statement. The statement is, in an infinitely large randomly mating population which is free from mutation, migration and natural selection. Infinitely large. Infinity means we don't know the end. The end is at infinity. Whatever you think is the last, there is one more value after that. So it tends towards infinity. So in an infinity theoretical infinitely large randomly mating population, in a randomly mating population, every male can mate with every female, whoever that relationship be. That mating is randomly mating population. It is free, there is no mutation taking place. Nobody is migrating from this population to another population, or the natural selection is working, that some traits are favored in the changing environmental conditions. So these things are not working. Only when this is true, then the allelic frequencies do not change from one generation to the next. So if that population of testers and non-testers of PTC, if you had 0.6 and 0.4, so this if this population is a Hardy-Weinberg population, following the condition of infinitely large randomly mating free from mutation, migration and natural selection, in that case what happens is that the allelic frequency 0.6 and 0.4, they stay same from 0.6 from one father to father's generation, to the son's generation, to the grandson's generation, to the grand-grandson's generation. From generations after generations, it remains the same. And the next assumption is, so 0.6 and 0.4 will remain the same in the next generation, in the next generation, in the next generation. That is provided when the population follows certain, it's a Hardy-Weinberg population. But theoretically this doesn't happen. Theoretically there is a difference, but even if it is not a Hardy-Weinberg population, more or less it is similar to the numbers. They don't vary too much. Until or unless there is a huge difference taking place in mutation, migration and random preference, the differences don't change too much if you take a population. So the next point is the genotypic frequency in the population. It can be determined in a predicted way by the allelic frequency. So if you are given an allelic frequency of 0.6 for capital T, so in a Hardy-Weinberg population, the genotypic frequency of capital A and capital A, or the capital T and capital T, will be 0.6 into 0.6, because there are two alleles, probability of M and probability of N. So the probability of M event and probability of N event happening together is probability Mn. So 0.6 into 0.6, that will be 0.36. So 0.36 is actually the genotypic frequency of your capital T and capital T individuals. So you can calculate the genotype from now. You've what you had seen, you had calculated the allelic frequency from the genotypic frequency. Now you have to calculate the genotypic frequency from the allelic frequency. How will you do it? So this is, now we are going to talk about it. So in other words, in the absence of evolutionary forces, the allelic and genotypic frequency in a large and randomly mating population will remain same from generation to generation. So the genotypic allelic frequency same, that means the genotypic frequency depends on the allelic frequency. It will also remain the same from one generation to another. So this is actually the Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. So the equilibrium is that the population frequency will be 0.36 is to the genotypic frequency will be, say for example in the AA, capital A, small a, I can remember that it will be 0.45 to 0.40 to 0.15. So this will remain the genotypic frequency of capital T, capital A, capital A, capital A, small a, and small a, small a. It will remain same from one generation to the another. It will remain 0.45, 0.4 is to 0.15 from one generation to the other. So the
আমরা কিন্তু এগুলো দেখতে পাচ্ছি না কিছু, শুধু ওই পপুলেশন মাস্ট বি কি প্যানমেটিক ওই জায়গাটাতে আছে, কিন্তু মানে আপনার
হ্যাঁ ওইটাই তো ওইটাই খুলে রেখেছি আমি, তোমাকে কিছুই দেখাইনি।
ও আচ্ছা, এখন আমি দেখতে পাচ্ছি।
তুমি এটা দেখতে পাচ্ছ ইন দ্য অ্যাবসেন্স অফ এভলিউশনারি ফোর্স, ওটাই খোলা রয়েছে। আমি তোমাদের এই জিনিসটা বোঝাচ্ছি, তোমাদের মেমোরিটাকে আমি কাজ করাচ্ছি,
ঠিক আছে
ঠিক আছে? ওটা আমরা এবারে আসবো যে পার্টটাতে। So now we come to key assumptions of the Hardy. We already know the population must be infinitely large. The population must be panmictic, that is mating must be random. You have to have random mating. And the population must be free from evolutionary forces like mutation, migration and natural selection. এই যে হার্ডি আর উইনবার্গের ছবি। So prediction of the Hardy-Weinberg's principle: the frequency of the alleles will not change from one generation to the next generation. So allelic frequency will not change, and the genotypic frequency in the population can be determined in a predictable way by allelic frequency. So assume, let us consider a hypothetical population. Two alleles, capital A and small a. So allele A has got a frequency P and small a allele has a frequency Q. Population large panmictic. Diploid genotypes of the next generation will be produced by the random union of haploid eggs and haploid sperms. So the probability of egg or sperm which carries carries A is P, value ta P, and Q is small a's. So what is the probability of AA homozygote? It is P into P or P square. So probability of having 1A is P, allelic frequency. Probability of having 2A is P into A. Probability of event PM into PM and PN occurring together is PMN. So it will be a multiplication. So P into P, it is equal to P square. And the probability of producing AA homozygote is Q square. For the formation of AA heterozygote, it will be probability of occurrence of P and probability occurrence of Q. So it is PQ. But this will happen 2 times. Therefore, it will be 2PQ. This can be seen if you take this cross in a Punnett square. Say A has got P, small a has got Q. Sperms and eggs. So you have A into A, P square, one heterozygous PQ. The next, first one was with sperm and egg. Now it is egg and sperm. It is another PQ and Q square. So result is you get the total is P square of capital A, the total population in the genes in the population plus 2PQ plus Q square, and this is the formula of P plus Q whole square, basic algebra. So the genotype is p square. So if you have been given an allelic frequency of capital A is p, so you say it is 2.2. So what is the genotypic frequency of capital A? Capital A 0.2 into 0.2, that is p square, that is 0.04. So that is the genotypic frequency of capital A, capital A. And remaining is, you can say, if you have been given the let's do it with a text. So you have been given a value of p that is equal to 0.6, and you have, what is the value of q then? Question is, what is the value of q? I'm not finding the question mark here. I found it. The question is, answer is q is equal to 1 minus p, that is equal to 0.4. Am I clear with this? বুঝতে পারলে?
Yes, sir.
So this is how the Hardy, you can calculate the genotypic frequency. The population must be random, it must follow Hardy-Weinberg population. এখন তুমি যদি বলো আমি ব্রাহ্মণ ছাড়া বিয়ে করব না and all these stuff things, it will not be Hardy-Weinberg population. But in reality, what we find actually, it is not very far away from the real population. So results of a population in a results of a random mating in a population having genotypic frequency p square AA 2pq AA and A. This population, what happens? So in the next, we are now going to the next generation. So genotypic frequency hochche p square AA AA. Now these males, these are the males of the population, and these are the genotypic frequency of the females in the population. Now these males are now mating with these females, random mating. AA's frequency is, etar hocche p chilo, it becomes p square, capital A small a, it becomes 2pq, small a is q square. Similarly, it's the same for females. Now when you put this formula together, you multiply p square into p square, p to the power 4, 2pq into p cube, so you get all this formula. So now if you draw this in the table, the type of mating, capital A into capital A. So this capital A into capital A, the mating, you get p to the power 4. In the Punnett square, you see, you get p to the power 4 here. Check this and check this, it's the same. So in the next generation, p4, then AA into heterozygote, capital A into capital A small a, this happens 2 times. So you have this value. If you add these 2 values in the first generation, 4p cube, that is, for the first cross you have this, next one you have this. So the total frequency is this, if you see, add. Similarly, if you add all of them, you get the whole value like this. Now if you convert this algebra equation, you get p plus q whole square to the whole square. So if the total value p plus q whole square equal to 1, so sum of all the genotypic frequency is 1. So 1 square is 1, 1 to the power 4 is also 1, 1 to the power 16 is also equal to 1. So the total genotypic frequency will remain the same. Similarly, if you add all these values together and solve the algebraic equation, you get the value after mating. Instead of becoming p4, it remains p square. It was p square. After random mating and adding all them all together, it still is p square. The value remains p square. The value remains 2pq. The value remains 2pq. So the allelic frequency and the genotypic frequency from one generation to the another generation, if there is random mating, it does not change. So say for example, the next thing is, if a population is not in Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium, so if there is one generation of random mating, then immediately the population comes to the Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. So one generation, this is that example there they have given. So this population, it was not in a Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. So when they multiplied these values together in the square, you get this value. In the next generation, you see the values remain the same. Here you had used P plus Q plus all these values, therefore it is difficult. But say now I have given you values, and from one generation put some numbers. Now you add these numbers together, you see that the numbers, they remain the same. 0.36, 0.48 and 0.16, they remain the same. 0.36, 0.48 and 0.16, they remain the same. Say if this was not in the a Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium ratio, even if there was one generation of random mating, you will get this ratio back. So it remains the same. One generation of random mating restores Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. Say AA 0.45, 0.20, 0.35. It is like this. Allelic frequency you found out 0.55, 0.45. Now next generation, your allelic AA, P square you get this value, PQ you get this value, and for Q square you get this value. So the genotypic frequency, if you talk, you get this value, that is equal to 1. So now you can use the formula of allelic frequency. It remains unchanged. So this allelic frequency also remains unchanged from one generation to another. So let's go to the next part now. And the next part is, first let me save this part. This is saved. So now we go to the next part, comment section. So the next part, next part we are talking about application of Hardy-Weinberg law to human population. So what happens in the case of complete dominance? So when Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium exists, allelic frequencies can even be found in the presence of complete dominance. That is where two genotypes cannot be distinguished. If two genotypes AA and small a, capital A small a have same phenotype, due to complete dominance of A over small a, the allele frequency can be determined. This is what we have seen. I had just now calculated. Suppose Q is 0.5. You have been given this value, then Q square is equal to 0.25. So if you are given only the allelic frequency of the recessive gene, if you have given because the dominant ones, say for example the heterozygous tall plants and the homozygous tall plants, TT, capital T and capital T small t, they have the same phenotype. You cannot find what is the allelic frequency here. So you need the allelic, you need the allelic frequency of the recessive phenotype. So say for example for the recessive figure Q is 0.5, then Q square is 0.25. Now you can calculate what is the allelic frequency of capital A, that is 1 minus Q or 0.75, which I had calculated. So this is what they are saying over here. Now frequency of harmful recessive alleles. So the Hardy-Weinberg law can also be used to calculate the frequency of heterozygous carriers of harmful recessive genes. Say two alleles, capital A, small a, autosomal locus with a frequency P and Q, and the population P plus Q is equal to 1. So frequency of A would be, according to Hardy-Weinberg's law, P square plus 2PQ plus Q square. This is a typing error over here. It should be Q square over here. So let me correct the error. Let me correct this error over here, otherwise you will restart reading this. Q square. Let's save this. This is Adobe Photoshop Professional. You can change PDF documents. So would be P square plus 2PQ plus Q square. So if the AA genotype express a harmful phenotype such as cystic fibrosis, then the proportion of infected individuals in a population would be Q square, and the frequency of heterozygous carriers of the recessive allele would be 2PQ. We know this. So let us talk it with numbers. So 1 out of 1000 children is affected with cystic fibrosis. So the frequency is 1 by divided by 1000 whole square, that is 0.001. So it will be Q square is this. So Q is under root of this, which is about 0.032, something like this. 2PQ is 2 into this into this. This is this. This means 62 individuals are out of 1000 of them or is a carrier, or 1 out of 16. 62 out of 1000 or 1 out of 16 is a carrier for the allele of cystic fibrosis. So you can find out the frequency of harmful in the population, harmful recessive alleles. So this is an application. You can calculate it for multiple alleles also. Instead of P plus Q whole square, the formula will be P plus Q plus R whole square. So P plus Q plus R is equal to 1. Consider the blood group locus, ABO blood group locus. You can even do this for sex-linked loci. It remains the same, the values. You can how many females and how many males will be affected, you can calculate using Hardy-Weinberg. Now let us talk about a term known as linkage disequilibrium. This is what is this linkage disequilibrium? Small questions come. Now linkage, you know linkage, when one allele of a particular one gene in a loci, one allele of a loci is beside another allele of another gene in another loci. They are nearby, one by one. Pashapashi ache dujon. So they are side by side, and that means they are linked with each other. That means when they are inherited in the next generation, they tend, the two genes which are side by side, they tend to be inherited together. একই সঙ্গে আসবে until or unless recombination takes place, but the chances of recombination is very bad, is very low, because they are close to each other. They are physically very close to each other. In this case, what happens, so even if random mating takes place, one would expect that it would be like an independent assortment, but it doesn't happen. In a population, there is a tendency of these two genes to be inherited together. So that independent assortment of the two genes which are side by side doesn't take place, and these two genes they don't come into equilibrium with each other. So So this is known as disequilibrium. It is very difficult because they are always if equilibrium is to be reached, then gene A and gene B, say for example, they must be independently assorting. They don't happen. So in this case, you can find a linkage disequilibrium coming into places. And you have heard about evolutionary forces which are upsetting Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium, that is recombination, genetic drift, gene migration, gene flow, natural selection. So in the next class we will be talking about evolutionary forces which will be upsetting Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium, and then we will again go to sources of variation. So I will inform you when my next class is.
ওকে স্যার।
ওকে, আমি বলে দেবো তোমাকে।
15 তারিখে বোধহয় টেন্টেটিভলি আমাদের থিওরি পরীক্ষা হবে।
নেক্সট মান্থ?
হ্যাঁ, এরকম তো ওই নোটিশটা তো দেওয়া আছে।
জুলাই না অগস্ট?
15 তারিখে লেখা
জুলাই।
আছে।
ও তোমাদের আর কি আর নোটিস, যত স্পিডে করাও তোমাদের দে আর ডুইং।
সেম পদ্ধতি হবে তো আগেরবারে যে।
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ,
কি বলছিলেন?
আর কি তার মধ্যে আশা করি তোমাদের সব নোটসগুলো পাঠিয়ে দেবো। সব নোটসগুলো তোমাদের আজকালের মধ্যেই সব পাঠিয়ে দেবো, তারপরে ক্রিটিক্যাল টপিকসগুলো পড়িয়ে দেবো।
সে গ্রুপে দেবেন তো?
নিশ্চয়ই।
না, বললাম ক্লাসরুমে।
না 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 না, তোমার হোয়াটসঅ্যাপ গ্রুপে দিয়ে দেবো। ক্লাসরুমে যা দেওয়ার দিয়ে দিয়েছি তো।
হ্যাঁ স্যার, দেখলাম।
আমি তোমাদের প্রায় দেখবে ওখানে সব সিলেবাস কমপ্লিট করে দিয়েছি।
স্যার তাহলে লাইব্রেরি বইটা বলছিলে ডেট দেবে তো একদিন?
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ
আচ্ছা স্যার, তো সেই দিনেই যাব।
ঠিক আছে, হ্যাঁ সেদিন যেও।